This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Pia. I'm Chairman, Stratford Town Council. Today is Monday, February 8th, 2021. It is 6:46 p.m. We'd like to begin the portion of the public forum, excuse me. We have one caller signed up for this evening, and just as a point of reference for going forward, as I make mention every month, please state your name, your address, your Stratford address for the record. And keep it 2 to 3 minutes per our council rules. And Ms. Paquette, if you'd like to announce our first caller.
Yeah, the first speaker is Immaculate Can.
Hi, Immaculate.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening, Mr. Chairman. This is Dr. Immaculate Can. I live at 234 Klondike Street, Stratford, Connecticut. Can I proceed?
Yes, you may. Go ahead. Go.
Thank you. So tonight I'm calling as a member of the NAACP, as a member of the executive board committee of the NAACP, and also as a Stratford resident. The NAACP received calls from our seniors of color with complaints that their needs are not being met as it relates to COVID-19 vaccination. Now, those concerns, our President Lord, documented those concerns and followed up with, I believe it was Andrea from the health department that he communicated with. And he indicated what those concerns were. And the president at that time indicated that we, within the NAACP, we are ready to help in any way possible to address the needs of our community. And we would like to know what the plan will be and how we can provide assistance. As of today at 4 p.m., when I spoke to President Lord, he stated that he has yet to know what the plans are to address the needs of the community. Now, I'm quoting what he said, and what he said is that he reached out, he got calls from the community, he reached out, he offered his help, he indicated that he has nurses, including myself, on the board, and we are all prepared and ready to help. And as of today, 4 p.m., we have yet to hear of how we're going to move forward. However, the president knows that the mayor issued a letter indicating that she is working, her department is working with the NAACP to address the needs of seniors of color. So I'm quoting the president again from what he asked me to document here today on this call, is that this is a lot of talk, but there's no action. If there's going to be a memo issued indicating that the town is working with NAACP to address the needs of the community, then there must be follow through. And as of today at 4 o'clock, there has not been any follow through. So if there's no genuineness regarding working with the NAACP to address the needs of the community, then that memo should not have gone out. Because we do have to respond to our community when they call us. We do have a duty to address their needs when they call us for help. And if there's going to be a memo issued that the town is working with us, then the town needs to work with us so that we can relay that information to our community.
Dr. Can? Yep. Mac, I'm just going to ask you to wrap up. I've given you a little bit over.
Okay. So
Thank
I know
you.
my time is up. I thank you for your time. And we wait to hear from the mayor and her
Thank
staff.
you. Thank you very much. Margo, I believe you said there was no other callers. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you all. We'll close tonight's public forum at 6:52 and reconvene at 8 o'clock on the same line and number for our town council meeting. Thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today, my name is Chris Pia, Chairman, Stratford Town Council. Today is Monday, February 8th, 2021. It is 8:03 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And with that, the invocation and pledge of allegiance tonight is going to be made by Councilor Dave Hart.
Mr. Chairman, if you could just note that all councilors are present this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Town Attorney. Margo, for the record, all 10 councilors are present at the beginning of the meeting. Mr. Hardin?
Most gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you for another opportunity to make decisions pertaining to the town and the community. We ask that you give us the strength and you give us the knowledge to do what's right and what's fair. We also pray for the family that has lost family members and friends through COVID. We pray for law enforcement and public safety as they continue to do the need for the community. As we celebrate Black History Month, we also pray for those who continue to fight for what's fair and right. We pray for those who have went already to rest and have laid the foundation for us and the community and in the world. We pray for world peace. And these things we pray in Jesus' name, amen. Peace be with all of you, and thanks for all that you do. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Hardin. Okay, first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting of January 11th, 2021, and the special meeting we recently had on January 25th of 2001.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Poisson. Do I have a second to that?
Second, Bill O'Brien.
Second, Dave Harden.
I have a second by Councilor O'Brien. I heard first. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion passes unanimously. All right. Next item on the agenda. Under ceremonial presentations and awards, item 2.1, I felt it was appropriate to, obviously, in recognition of Black History Month. I couldn't think of a better way to bring it to everyone's attention tonight and thank everyone for it, for the history and the importance of it, then ask two of our counselors to say a few words. Also ask them to look into the community and identify somebody that they felt was important, someone that's given back, someone that just does the right thing. And I'm not going to steal their thunder. They put the work into it. So with that, I'm going to go in order. Councilor Taveras, I'll ask that you introduce the individual you have, and say some words, and then the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I thought it was a great idea. So certainly want to give you a virtual high five, and along with Mayor Hoydick also. I thought this was definitely something that gives us more of a personal touch right here in our own town. And I'd like to present Miss Candace Mack. She is a freshman at Benel High School. She's in the 9th grade and already has accomplished an impressive array of accomplishments. She's on the National Honor Society. She's in the art club, concert band, jazz band, choir, vice president of the National Junior Honor Society. She's her awards are the 4th through 8th grade Honor Society, President's Education Award, 6th and 8th grade, Act of Kindness Award, 7th grade, Excellence in Social Studies Award, 8th grade. Presently, she's in the Benel Marching Band. She's made first honors. She's in the vertical youth of her church and a vertical youth volunteer, Stratford Library Teen Center volunteer, 9th grade, a member of HOSA in the 9th, and she's class president for the year 2024. She aspires to attend Harvard, Yale, Brown, and here is her bio. She says, my name is Candace Mack. I'm a 9th grade student at Benel High School. I am the class president of 2024. My current GPA is 4.0. I am enrolled in several honor level courses, including Algebra 2, Spanish 2 honors, World History honors, and etc. And I say that with emphasis. I have the opportunity to play in the Benel High School Marching Band since 8th grade, where I play the alto and tenor saxophone. I also enjoy the keyboard in my spare time. I'm a member of HOSA, which that acronym is the Health Occupation Students of America, hereby known as Future Health Professionals. As of right now, I am studying medical law and ethics in preparation for the state competition. We certainly wish you the best. I strive to be active in my local and church community in the future. I aspire to be an advocate for underrepresented groups. I believe that advocacy is a powerful and important factor for the change we want to see in this world. Therefore, I hope to attend a prestigious college to further my education and help others. And young lady, I think I can speak for all of us that we are all cheering for you. We wish you the best on your accomplishments. And we only hope that you come back to Stratford and divulge all those gifts to help make your town better. But wherever you're going to go, we know that your accomplishments will best serve where you are. And again, I just want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that. I know I wanted to say a few words, but you know what? Couldn't top that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I do know Candace is on the line list. Candace, well done, amazing. Like Paul said, none of us can top that. That resume is impeccable. Keep going, and we all. I think I speak for everyone. We're all behind you. So thank you for making Stratford a great community. Thank you, Paul. Well done. Mr. Harding, I'd like to introduce you, sir, to have you say some words regarding another individual in our town.
Good evening, all. I'd like to recognize Roger Facey, who is the owner of McDonald's on Barnum Avenue. And Roger is the owner of about 12 different McDonald's that are owned by Black individuals, including himself. He has done a lot for the community by volunteering and financially supporting Eli Whitney and Wilcoxon School, and also Franklin School with the Read Out Loud program, where they supplied not only iPads for Eli Whitney, but also financial means for books, and Franklin School to purchase books and needed objects and items. And so tonight I thank him for all of his dedication to the town and what he does for individuals and school projects. And McDonald's is also a great organization. They actually really represent Black History Month with their commercials and specials there at McDonald's. And one of the things that I spoke to Roger about a while back is about making sure that, you know, his hiring process was equal across the board. And that's one of the things that he fought to do was fair and right, not only to hire minorities and male or female and people of any walks of life, but to make sure that it was equal and no one felt left out. So tonight I honor him and all the things that he's done. One of the things I want to do is really quickly read a poem by Langston Hughes. It talks about I dream a world, and it says, I dream a world where no other men will be scorned, where love will be blessed on the earth, and peace its path adore. And peace its path adores. I dream a world where all will know the sweet freedom's way, where there is greed no long saps the soul. A world I dream where black or white will never face race be you. And this is a dream where it talks about, just getting along and having peace among each other, even though that we have differences. And one of the things tonight I want people to go away remembering is that we all are equal, and we all should love each other, and we all should have kindness. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Well said. I'm sorry, I was just on mute. Thank you for putting that together, and thank you to Roger as well. I know he has been generous to the town, and like you said, it's again another pillar of the community. Whether it be a business owner, whether it be a youth who's contributing, growing, who is the future. That's what makes a great community altogether. So, David, Paul, thank you very much for taking the time and putting this together. It's really important and the best way to honor this today. So, thank you both. Well done. With that, we're going to continue and move on. The next item on the agenda is going to be our monthly TAN report under item 3.1. Dawn Sabo, Finance Director.
Hi, Chairman Pia, thank you. You received the report with your packet, and I'd like to note that we are roughly at the same tax level as we were last year. We're at about 95%. We're at 94.82 as compared to last year at this time, 95.18. So we're tracking closely to last year. The report has been updated, so it shows that we are in a positive cash position at the end of the year, although it's tight, but we're there. And also, I would like to just let you know that there were 80, let me see, I wrote it down here, sorry, 82 deferrals that came in, and the total deferral amount was $383,456 and 58 cents. That averages about $4,700 for each deferral. Obviously, they're a range, but that's just the average. So we are in good shape as far as tax collections go right now. Does anybody have any questions?
Dawn, I'll ask just the first question. The application period is over the state for the deferral. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. The application period ended February 1st.
Thank you. Questions? Any counselors have any questions for Dawn on the TAN report?
Oh.
Okay. Someone trying? Greg, is that you?
Oh, no question.
Gotcha. Excellent. Dawn, thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'd also like to say, Candace Mack, that was really impressive resume that you had there. So I congratulate you.
Well said. Excellent. Thank you, Dawn. Next up is the mayor's report. Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Chairman. And Dawn, I bet you wish that Candace was majoring in finance and municipal finance and not public health or something else that she was looking forward to doing, but she was impressive.
She could change
I'm sorry?
She could still change her mind.
That's the great thing about having a lot of doors open to you. And David, thank you for again reminding us about Roger's generosity to the community. I mean, he has been a long-standing business in town, and he is so generous, and we are so thankful for his presence. Anyway, with that said, Mr. Chairman, the first thing I'd like to talk about tonight is Black History Month. In recognition of the contributions and achievements of African Americans in our community, I issued a proclamation recognizing Black History Month in the town of Stratford during the month of February. In 2021, the national theme for observance is the Black family, representation, diversity, and identity. And this is emphasizing the role of the Black family and the foundation in American life and history. I would like to ask residents to join us all in this important recognition. We have several COVID updates. Town Hall continues to be open by appointment only unless you're paying your taxes or you need the assessor. Then you just come to the door and we let you in. Staff has remained staggered, alternating schedules between reporting in person and teleworking. And while the offices remain open and staffed, we continue to encourage any residents who have business that can be transacted online through email or over the phone to use those methods if possible. So we have quite a number of vaccination updates. So Connecticut is in phase 1B of vaccine distribution. Those eligible in 1B were until today 75 years plus, and first responders from first health responders from phase 1A. As of today, the governor has announced that 65 plus can register, and I think he said on the press conference today, beginning Thursday, but VAMs might be open if you can access it yourself through the computer, or you can always call the health department and they will help you sign up for a vaccine. We'll sign you up into the system and then you can get a vaccine. So we continue to have COVID-19 testing, and in partnership with Yale New Haven Health, we are have tested on February 3rd, and we will continue every Wednesday, the 10th, 17th, and 24th at the Baldwin Center, and that testing will take place from 8:45 to 12:30, and then from 1 p.m. to 2:30. And it's in the old care section of the Baldwin Center, so it's not the main building, but the outside door when you're facing right. Appointments are not required, but it can make the process faster, and appointments can be made at covidtesting.ynhhs.org, so YaleNewHavenHealthSystems.org. If you have insurance, please bring the card with you, but there will be no charge for testing. Vaccination clinics, we have been very successful. Andrea Boisvane, our health director, and her crew, and she's expanded her crew, by the way, to not just be the health department, but our medical reserve corps, as well as EMS and our paramedics. And they to date have vaccinated approximately almost 2,000 individuals. These clinics will continue Tuesday and Wednesday at Birdseye. However, not tomorrow or Tuesday because of the snow, so it will be Wednesday and Thursday. To get the vaccine, one must register through the VAM system. And if you can't register through VAMs, you can always call the health department and they can set you up, which is exactly what we've been doing for our 75 plus population, but I'll explain that a little bit. We are working with local seniors who have difficulty navigating the state's VAM system. It's the vaccination management system, to ensure that they are registered and as vaccinating those 75 and older remain the priority. We are pleased that the personnel from EMS have now been trained to administer vaccines and are actively supporting our health department in the effort. News 12 did a great feature which highlighted their efforts a couple weeks ago. Health and our EMS personnel are currently working to vaccinate those who are homebound, and we're very excited that and Mike Louise are working how we can to figure this out, because there's a lot of people that we know that aren't getting the vaccine because they aren't ambulatory. It's important to keep in mind that as we go forward, we are part of a larger region and statewide vaccination network effort. So what that means is Stratford doesn't only vaccinate Stratford people, we vaccinate anybody who applies in the state system and selects our clinics. Just as any of us, when we get into the vaccination system, can get our vaccines in other communities. We have had weeks we have previously received fewer vaccines than what we requested to administer, which has resulted in fewer vaccines administered than we have the capacity to give. We hope that beginning to change, we will receive greater numbers and doses in the upcoming week. The state is beginning to release more information about how many individuals are vaccinated in our communities. At the last tabulation to this date, we had 3,521, or 6.8% of the population had been vaccinated, including 918, or 19.1% of our seniors or older. I think that data is old because I remember Andrea saying today that we had vaccinated about 29% of our seniors, 75 and older. We still remain at the red level for the color-coded COVID-19 alert map, and that's tracking the averages. The town of Stratford, along with another 161 towns, is in the red level, 44.8% per 100,000. And this was for the time period of January 17th through the January 30th. I also wanted to give you some updates that Greta had sent over. Let me see if I can find those quickly. She had advised me that how we've done our outreach, and this is quite interesting, and that's what I meant about Andrea's broad tent, big tent. She incorporated Tammy Trojanowski with senior and community services, and they've been reaching out on multiple levels to seniors 75 and up to get them to register. They did some direct scheduling with these folks, and when they moved to the clinic to get vaccinated as soon as they are able, they created handouts with various methods to register for the vaccine. Economic Development has sent Stratford food pantries, and we have sent it to the clergies as well, the Stratford Clergy Association. Stratford Clergy has mentioned all these vaccination opportunities in their weekend service. We've connected with Orinoco leadership and provided them with information about various methods to register for the vaccine, and they have been helping each other through the VAMS process. They reached out to them today to let them know we have openings this week. Senior Services did a robocall for about 700 Stratford seniors, letting them know about available appointments in our clinics. Working on the neighbor-to-neighbor sign-up process, where the residents can refer a senior, 65 plus, who has not been able to make an appointment with us, and then we contact them when we are able to schedule their appointment. And they've launched this already through this 65/25 transition hurdle. The health program assistant started today. Her name is Crystal Medley, and she will help with community outreach specifically to the more vulnerable residents who are having difficulty connecting. So those are just some of the updates from the COVID piece. Okay, so exit 33. I'm really pleased to report that exit 33 project is moving along with the new northbound ramp on Ferry Boulevard and the southbound off-ramp near Veterans Boulevard. And we will have a full interchange by the end of June of 2022. Roughly 340 cubic yards of Raymar contaminated soil was removed from the site and completed the portion of that project. And the first ramp will be opened this fall and the next in the spring. We've been working on the town budget last week, this week, and the department heads are crafting the proposed budget, which will be delivered to the council as a charter prescribed by March 12th. The Stratford Police Department is committed to progressing and furthering education of our officers. Recently, the Stratford Police Department hosted a police engagement program, implicit bias training for all officers. They are all trained. I was lucky enough to attend that session on January 22nd. The class is sponsored through Stratford PAL and is taught by our very own Lieutenant Eller, Sergeant Lofton, K-9 Officer Diaz, Officer Machette, and Community Outreach PAL Director Aaron McLaughlin. The class focuses on ensuring the safety of our community, but providing universal guidance for both officers and civilians alike, and also, in a simpler way, take a walk in their shoes, understand where they're coming from. It was quite enlightening and very mind-opening. The Stratford Police Cadets in association with PAL produced an excellent video, a public service announcement over the importance of locking your car doors. As we know, we like to live in the Shangri-La community where our keys can stay in our consoles, the doors can be unlocked, our front doors are always open, but unfortunately, by doing that, we also set us up for robbery, and hopefully nothing worse. But since there has been an uptick in attempted car break-ins this winter, not only in Stratford, but throughout the region, actually throughout the state, their public service announcement is a great message about securing your property, and it can be viewed on the Stratford Police Cadets PAL Facebook pages. My personal thanks to Tammy Trojanowski and the volunteers of the community and senior services, as well as Sterling House, who joined us on a very successful drive on Martin Luther King Day, which made it ever more so special, as this was a day of service in association with Digital Dreams Project, and we collected electronic devices and computers that are going to be repurposed for seniors. So I was very excited that Resident Clayton Boris brought that to our attention, and away we go. We have some new railings at the bocce court at the senior center, and the railings were installed by Public Works at the suggestion of a resident. I'd like to congratulate the Orinoco Birdhouse, which is right in Stratford Center, for getting a great write-up in the Connecticut Magazine and Connecticut Post for their great food service. If you haven't had Dan Cardis's, one of his fried chicken sandwiches, you're missing a real treat because they're delicious. The Orinoco Birdhouse is located on Main Street at the location of the former Hudson Deli. Christmas tree collection by the Parks Division will continue through February 14th. If you still have a Christmas tree you'd like collected, just place it by the curbside. Remove all ornaments, decorations from the trees, and do not wrap in plastic. We have some upcoming events. Actually, wait, hold on just a minute. I just wanted to give you some economic development updates first. Mary and Tammy Economic Development are working very hard on the micro enterprise grant. As of last week, they had the 42 small businesses applied. They decided, I heard them say today, that they are going to be issuing grants of $5,000 each. And so we hope to have those out very, very shortly. Center School RFP property is being Center School property RFP is being drafted, and we expect it to go out by February. Contract plating, Kelly's on the call today. She's very involved in the marketing for that. Thank you, Kelly. She and Mary, as you remember, went to California for a rodeo roundup. They were selected, and we're getting some pro bono marketing advice on that property. So they're working on this marketing material, and it will also include the ball fields, and that development is approximately 17 acres. The Army Engine Record of Decision is expected anytime now. We got an email from the Deep Bureau Chief. They received their comments back from the Army. They're going to fine tune them and then release it. So can't wait. Complete Streets, Planning and Zoning, Engineering, Economic Development, and MetroCog are meeting with DOT to review the 60% design plan. Riders Landing, aka Parkway Plaza, was reviewed last month. There was an article in the Connecticut Post over the weekend about that particular development. 91 Wood Ave and Van Buskirk, the Planning Commission at its meeting on January 19th voted to give favorable recommendation to the Town Council to abandon the unpaved portion of Van Buskirk Avenue. If abandoned by the town, if abandoned, the property will make up to the unpaved portion of the paper road and will be granted to each adjoining property owner up to the center line of the road. Thank God Bruce is on the call. If you have any questions, you could ask him more later. The matter is being added to the next available council agenda, which is, as you know, it's on the agenda tonight. At the same meeting, the Planning Commission approved the town-owned parcel, which is approximately 0.11 acres privately owned on Wood Avenue. And with all of these, putting these parcels together, we hope to have at least 2 building lots on the Wood Avenue parcel. 11 Old South, that's why Kelly's here today, is referred to the council for our $100,000 EPA assessment grant. We've had several ribbon cuttings at Knott's Landing, the storage facility in Chipotle, and Connecticut Braces. That's on Main Street by North and Main. Shakespeare Market, we had a great event on Saturday. Sunday was canceled due to the snow, but there were approximately 800 people there. Restaurant Week, we're planning to be May 19th through May 22nd. We're setting the dates for the summer concert series and for fireworks and Blues on the Beach. Okay, hold on, Mr. Chairman.
Hmm.
The South End Community Center in Ty Sims is offering their volunteer tax assistance program, VITA. They've been doing that for 17 years, and they offer this program to help prepare taxes for anyone with an income of $57,000 or less. I mentioned Crystal being appointed to the Health Department. And the last thing is in observance of Lincoln's birthday and President's Day, the town offices are closed on Friday the 12th and Monday the 15th. Sanitation Division will be working on both days to provide uninterrupted trash collection, but the transfer station will be closed. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Questions for the mayor? I'll open it up to the council. Mr. Taveras, your hand first, sir. Paul, you're muted. Paul, you're muted. Yep,
Sorry.
hang on. Go ahead. All good.
Thank you. Through the chair, good evening, Mayor. I just have two questions. Okay, Reverend Lord had reached out to me, and he definitely wanted to help get involved with making sure that the vaccinations were being equitably applied. Is there something I can do to help, or has since then, have there been some collaboration with the NAACP?
So did Reverend Lloyd explain to you that he spoke with Andrea?
He said he reached out to Andrea, but then that was it. That's all. I haven't gotten any other updates after that.
No, I think he, let me just pull up Andrea's email. Hold, if you could just bear with me for a second.
Absolutely.
Okay. This came from Andrea at the end of January. The NAACP has also reached out. This is in, by the way, there was inquiries from a resident over on General Street, I believe, who is stating that the health department was picking and choosing who was receiving vaccines and that we were neglecting seniors of color. And as you heard from what I had read about our efforts to reach all seniors, that couldn't be further from the truth. And so in response to that resident's concern, Reverend Lloyd talked to Andrea. And when she said they asked for information about the clinics and offered to help get the word out, which Andrea has provided them flyers so they can distribute it on their website or however they do that. They're also, the NAACP are conducting some panels to educate folks about safety. And so we have been advertising their efforts as well. So I believe Reverend Lord and Andrea spoke about when the new health program coordinator came on board, which today was her first day, that Crystal would be in additional touch with him so they could, you know, work better together. And so that's probably maybe the miscommunication that we're having here.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. My second question is, are there any other updates from the officer-involved shooting that happened over the weekend? Is there something you can talk about that? Because some of the constituents were asking if there were any updates on that. And maybe you can explain those that are listening exactly what happened, of what you know.
Yeah, so first of all, Counselor, I would like to applaud all of you elected officials who have been very conscious not to talk about this issue as directed by the state police and the state's attorney. And that was so very important for all of us to just let the process happen with the state's attorney and the state police. And so they are going to be offering a statement tomorrow because of where they are in their investigation. As you know, state statute is 72 hours after the incident that happened on Friday night, and it was an officer-involved shooting. And people may or may not know that the north side of Main Street by the Merritt Parkway was shut down for quite a number of hours while the investigation continued. So I really can't say more than that, except for as soon as we get the statement, we will definitely forward it to all of you on the town council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions for the mayor?
Chris, it's Dan.
Greg? Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Madam Mayor, a little background before my question. 7 years ago, when John Dempsey was on town council, CDBG put aside monies to improve neighborhood parks in the 4th and 5th district. 4 years ago, after a 3-year investigation, CDBG said, we cannot do security systems, but we can do improvements. So since I've been on the council and a member of CDBG for the last 30 months, kind of on a monthly basis, I've been going through the administration, say first Chris Bendecki and then the mayor's chief of staff, sharing pictures, writing down ideas, working with other members of the subcommittee the objective is the Parks Department, according to Mr. Bendecki, has to provide a list of improvements that they already have identified. And what we've been trying to get from the Parks Department is that list so that the CDBG monies can complement that and work in addition to that. We've had, I know right now, staff is very busy with COVID, but this has been a many-year wait, and the improvements are quite visible, the need for them, I should say. You know, you've got broken asphalt, you've got drainage problems and flooding, you have 40-year-old rusty and broken playground equipment. So my ask for you, Mayor, is can you help the CDBG committee get the attention of the Parks Department so they can do that critical path task of making a list of improvements that they've already targeted so that other improvements in addition to can then be prioritized.
Thank you, Counselor, for that statement. As you know, for the last year, we have been focusing on COVID. Prior to that, we did focus on the Stony Brook Park, and I personally walked that as you'd have with Chief of Staff Downs. We've also focused a lot of money on Juliet Low, which is a beautiful, beautiful park. But I will take your comments and go back to the Director of Public Works, and we will hopefully with COVID, with the vaccination programs really starting to on the uptick, we will beat this pandemic, and we will be working actively to improve the capital program projects that we have listed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any other questions for the mayor? Caitlin, you raise your hand. Yeah. Hold on one second, Bill. Caitlin, you have the floor. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor Hoydick, I have a couple questions regarding the COVID vaccination. My first question, I guess, would stem back to, I had sent an email to Andrea and Michael Downs a few weeks ago with a list of questions regarding the process, because as many residents had a lot of questions when they reached out, I didn't have the answers because I didn't know what the process was because it hadn't been shared yet. My follow-up question to you, which then would probably go to Andrea, would be in regards to outreach for the homebound residents. Have we reached out to the Stratford VNA services at all to see if they could help assist us with the elderly population that can't get out of their homes?
Thank you, Counselor, for that question. As I mentioned before, Andrea has a very, very big tent of which the VNA is a major partner in it. So yes, we utilize the VNA and their information about our homebound, and not only that, they help us with our vaccination clinics, and they help us with the public aspect of nursing.
Oh, that's good to know. They weren't included in the list of partnerships, so that makes me really happy.
They may have been included, Councillor Shake, in the memo of January 29th that was issued to the entire town council, but in every effort that we have, we include the Stratford Visiting Nurse Association. And because of those efforts, that's why they are listed as a recipient of town dollars in the budget.
Thank you for clarifying that and letting me know in case there are other, there are residents who have parents that are 75 plus and they were still inquiring, so I can pass that along. My next question regarding COVID vaccinations, do we have any future partnerships coming up with any of the healthcare networks surrounding us to also help assist with vaccinations? Like Yale New Haven Health, not just for COVID testing?
As I understand from Andrea, Yale New Haven Health and St. Vincent's Health are really focusing on Bridgeport right now. So she is endeavoring to establish a partnership with them for vaccinations in Stratford.
Okay, that's great. Do we know if CVS here in Stratford, where they provide, I believe it's Holly Lane, the COVID testing, if they're going to potentially be another community partner to assist with vaccinations?
Don't know that one yet, Counselor. As soon as we know, we will share the information with you, though.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any other questions for the mayor? Madam Mayor, I just want to say the last couple snowstorms in that last week, hats off to PW, and please relay that to Renee and her team. Those guys, those men and women did a bang up job.
Thank you, Counselor.
Mr. Chairman, Bill O'Brien,
Mr. O'Brien.
for the mayor. First, a couple comments about the vaccine. I spoke to a resident this evening who was able to get an appointment for next week with the new system for 65 to 75-year-olds. And he said he got it at UB in Bridgeport. And I guess he and his family got on the phone quickly to make it happen. And I also want to point out that many veterans are also getting the vaccine through the VA. In fact, I get my first one tomorrow, thanks to the VA. But considering the storms, back on December 17th, we had our first major storm, and I heard a number of complaints, and I think we all did. But these last two storms, which were much more serious and much more heavy, Public Works did an incredible job. All I heard were compliments. I'm sure you heard complaints in some areas. I'm wondering about the areas where cars tend to park on both sides of the street. How did the alternate side of the street parking go? And have we had to do any towing or ticketing of cars?
Thank you, Counselor. We have had to do some towing and ticketing of cars, but what Stratford PD does, well, PW first alerts PD that they need the cars moved in order to clean the streets. And then what PD does is they go door to door to try to get the homeowner to move the car so there isn't the need to ticket and tow. And so those are the first protocols. And then the last resort is towing. The alternate side of the street parking works relatively well, but not always, because some people just don't pay attention, even though it's a town ordinance that whenever there's inclement weather, you're parking on one side of the street or the other. People also don't know that they are responsible for clearing their sidewalks 24 hours after a storm ends. And we've been getting probably as many complaints about sidewalks not being cleared as we have been getting about a difficult passageway on a street. But what has been very helpful for us is the constituents are sending emails. I get a lot, especially during a storm. They send it to Public Works and to me. Some of them send them to you, and I'm able to forward them to Renee and Tom Albert, and they are able to address it right away. So I'm really proud of, especially after the first storm, because we had a lot of retirements, as I told you, and some inexperienced drivers on these routes, but they really learned from that very first big storm, and they're doing a great job. And I have to give kudos to Renee because she's on the phone. She's literally during a storm, she's on the phone taking calls from constituents because she wants to know what's going on. She wants to be able to address it. And sometimes when somebody hears it from the person who's actually active in the event, they have a different understanding of what everybody has to go through to manage more than 200 miles of roads with all of those vehicles and all of that staff. So thank you, Counselor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor O'Brien. Any other questions for the mayor? No? Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Chairman.
Next item on the agenda under committee reports, item 4.3.1 for the Parks and Rec Committee. I'll entertain a motion for that item.
Yes, this is Bill O'Brien, and
Mr.
we
O'Brien.
have discussed this at the Parks and Rec. Short Beach Commission's discussed it, and we'd like to approve these increases for non-resident fees at the golf course that are in the agenda.
So motion by Councilor O'Brien to approve item 4.3.1. Do I have a second?
Second, Dave Harden.
Seconded by Councilor Harden. I heard him first. Okay, discussion.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Bill O'Brien.
Mr. O'Brien, go ahead, sir.
Well, first of all, I wanted to point out that this will be the first increase in 7 years, and it is only an increase for non-residents. We compared the fees at other golf courses. The Orchards in Milford, I know I pay a comparable amount there when I play, but they have new management, so we don't know what's going to happen this spring. And comparing to the Fairfield par 3 course, they are the same thing, $18 during the week, but they're a little bit more. They're 22 on the weekend, where we're going to be at $20. And when I was volunteering as a starter this past summer, I always was surveying people, and I'd say half the people were from out of town. And people that played both Fairfield and Stratford would comment to me that they thought the Stratford course was better than Fairfield. But as anyone that knows me well knows, I'm an avid golfer, and people will pay the extra fee to come from out of town. And in some ways, I hope it discourages some people, because a lot of townspeople got turned away this past year because we were so busy and so many out of towners were coming here.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any other discussion on the item? No? Okay. We'll call for a vote then. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion passes unanimously, 10-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda, item 4.4, Town Attorney Report. Attorney Hodgson.
I have no report this evening, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda, moving down to resolutions under 6.2. We have item 6.2.1. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman?
Hold on 1 second. I have a motion by Mr. Poisson first. I heard him first. Sorry, Paul. Mr. Poisson, I recognize you first, sir.
Yeah, it's a motion, so you need a second.
I need a second. Do I have a second?
Dave Harden.
I see Mr. Perillo's hand. Sorry, Dave. Councilor Perillo raised his hand on the second. We'll entertain discussion. Paul? Yep, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just looked at what looks like to be some possible typos. On the third paragraph, the third line in, should the town accept assessment services would likely begin in spring of 2020. Might want to take a look at that if that's a mistake.
Go ahead.
And on the fourth paragraph, there's Tuesday, February 26th of 2021. That might also be a.
Okay, thank you for good time. Thanks, Paul. Mr. Leclerc, the items Mr. Taveras just mentioned.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I think he's referring to a memorandum to the town council from Kelly Kerrigan, not the resolution itself. And I assume Kelly's on the line. I assume those are typos as well. I think she probably meant January 26th on the fourth paragraph and 2021 in the third paragraph, but she can address those.
Kelly?
Yes, those were typos. Sorry about that.
It was nice meeting you today also.
Yeah, likewise.
So, Mr. Leclerc,
Mr. Chairman?
Hang on.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
1 second. Being that was in the memo, do we need to correct that?
No, Mr. Chairman, I think it just was corrected by Ms. Kerrigan, so we are fine. The resolution is appropriate as phrased.
Thank you. Mr. Poisson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend the resolution, please.
Go ahead, sir, you can state it.
Yes, I'd like to amend it in item 1. There's another typo. It says that, and I'd like to strike the second that, and replace that with the dollar amount that was left out, the $100,000 that we've been awarded by the EPA.
Okay.
Actually, to be clear on that, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'll let you have a second if you'd like to delete the superfluous language, but then I'll clarify something.
So, okay, so no problem. I have a motion to amend by Councilor Poisson. Do I have a second to that?
I'll second.
Second, Dave Harmon.
That's Councilor Harden on the second. Discussion. Mr. Leclerc?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in speaking with Ms. Carrigan, your environmental conservation superintendent, this is not an outright grant of money to the town of Stratford. Rather, these are services that are provided by the EPA to the town of Stratford, and that's the estimated value of those services. So we're not actually getting money. I know you folks are familiar with grants, typically from the health department, which are very common, where money actually comes into the town. This is not money coming in that will be paid to a vendor pursuant to a successful RFP. This is actually a value of services of assessment work that would be conducted by the EPA. And Ms. Carrigan can comment further on that if necessary.
Kelly, go ahead. Or did he sum up?
Yeah, he pretty much summarized everything well, but if there are any other questions about the arrangement, I'm happy to take them.
Okay, so before we go back to the overall discussion on the arrangement, which we will in a moment, Mr. Leclerc, your opinion then is I would like to tweak the language that Mr. Poisson did mention just for that the duplication. You're okay with that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And then you're recommending we do not put the dollar value in there being 100,000.
Yes, it's not necessary for this because we are accepting the assessment work itself, which is valued at $100,000. Whatever that number comes out to, the resolution is to accept the award of assessment work, which Ms. Carrigan indicated is estimated to be worth $100,000 to the town of Stratford.
Mr. Poisson, having said that from him, do you want to change your amendment or?
Yeah, we could, I'd like to amend it just to get rid of the duplication, the superfluous language as the town attorney so eloquently stated.
Understood. And Council Hardy, you still good on the second there?
Yep, still good.
Okay. So any further discussion on that? I think it's pretty straightforward. We'll call it to a vote to amend. Just take out the superfluous language as we're all going to use it tonight. Call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion passes 10-0. So now we're back to the original motion as amended. Any further discussion on that? And this is where I'll open up if anybody has a question for Kelly on the overall piece of this. I'll open that up. Nope, not hearing anything. Okay, Kelly, great job. Thank you for working on this. We appreciate it. It's great for the town. We'll call this for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously 10-0. Thank you all. Next item on the agenda is item 7.1.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Poisson.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 7.1 and be it resolved that the unpaved portion of Van Buskirk Avenue be abandoned and that parcel 18235 be offered for purchase to the owner of the adjoining property at 65 Wood Avenue, and in the event such parcel is not so purchased, that it be added to the adjoining town-owned property at 91 Wood Ave.
Excellent. Motion by Councilor Poisson. Do I have a second?
Laura Dancho, I'll second.
Ms. Dancho, thank you. Discussion. Attorney Jackson, if you could just bring us up to speed.
Yes, sir. So if you, I think you have the maps in your packet. When we were looking at 91 Wood Avenue with the idea of trying to sell it, it occurred to everyone that the unpaved portion of Van Buskirk was running through there. I talked to John Casey, I talked to Kelly Kerrigan, and basically there's all kinds of encroachments. There's no purpose to the town going forward. Which brings us to the possibility of abandoning the road. Planning had agreed to it with the idea with some recommendations, which are in your packet. Then it became that parcel 235, we don't want to make a landlocked lot. That lot is behind 65 Wood Avenue. So the idea was to offer it to the adjoining lot, which I would offer to them. If they accepted it, we would want them to buy it. I mean, part of what I'm going to ask you is come up with a value of that lot. If they decided to buy it, then they could buy that and then get the benefit of half the road once it's abandoned, if you abandon it. But if they don't want to buy it, then we own the adjoining parcel. We would add it to 91 Wood Avenue with the ultimate understanding that we're going to sell that. The holdup on selling 91 Wood was A, there was an underground oil tank that Kelly Kerrigan has removed, but B, to try to get this unused road that's not going anywhere back on the tax rolls. I have put together a series of, or at least one or two, Zoom meetings with the neighbors. We sent them a letter. We talked to them. I know of no objections to this. In fact, they're all very excited about it. And the idea would be if the council voted to abandon the road, we would go with Mr. Casey and come up with some legal descriptions to basically grant to the adjoining owners that portion of the road up to the midpoint, and everybody would get a little more land and we wouldn't have to take care of it anymore. I will ask the council to consider if 235 is to be sold to the neighbor. I'd like to have an idea of value. I can tell you that our assessor has the assessed value is $8,500, but whether that's what the price you want to put on it or not is up to you.
So, Town Attorney Jackson, let me just first start off, being that there's no language in the resolved as read regarding what you just said about value and assessment. Are you recommending we amend that?
Well, I think the idea, I mean, when I actually talked to Mr. Leclerc and I talked about it, if I'm going to offer it to the neighboring property, I'd like the council to come up with an idea of value. I can only tell you what our assessed value is, but I could also have somebody say to me, well, it's the only property nearby and it's a pandemic and maybe that's not what we want to charge for it. The lot's useless to anyone except that lot. If you look at your packet, it's literally right behind and they're a very small lot. So it didn't seem right to give it to them, but I also thought we ought to try to get a reasonable price to sell it to them.
So it's okay, it's appropriate for us to vote on this tonight and come back with on this after speaking with the administration.
Yeah, that's fine. The idea was, A, do you want to abandon the road? B, do you want to take care of that lot? Right. And if those are true, what do I offer to the neighbor for? Understood.
And just so everyone's aware, this came back, we sent this to planning about 2 months ago. Planning reviewed it and then sent it back to us per town procedure. So any other further discussion with Attorney Jackson on this or question? Okay, I don't hear any. We'll call it for a vote then. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion passes unanimously 10-0. Thank you all. Next item on the agenda is item 7.2.
Mr. Chairman, this is Jim Connor from the 8th District. I'd like to make a motion, 7.2, resolved that the unpaved portion streets known as Orono Place, Leslie Street, and Charlotte Street be abandoned.
Motion by Councilor Connor. Do I have a second to that?
Laura Dancho.
Ms. Dancho, thank you, Ms. Dancho. Discussion. Attorney Jackson, we'll pull you back on. If anything you'd like to add further on this, Bruce?
No, this was also brought before the Planning Commission. Mr. Rosati was going to be on the call, although I don't know if he got on or not. Planning had decided that these were not useful portions. The only thing on the conditions on theirs was that we retained access. So I think there's a parcel on the other side. So there'll be some town easements that I think will be done, but I don't see a problem with it. And I don't see any concerns with it.
Excellent. Any further discussion on this or questions for Attorney Jackson on this item? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote then. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Chair votes aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously 10-0. Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is item 7.3. I'll take a motion for approval.
Mr. Chair, if I may, get started for
Mr. Hardin, okay.
comes with a favorable recommendation.
Motion by Councilor Harden to approve item 7.3.
I'll second.
Do I have a second?
Okay, thank you. This is appropriation of $15,000 moved from the Stratford EMS budget to the Stratford Volunteer Association for education and promoting fellowship among its members and the community. And again, this is $15,000, which they've done over the last couple of years.
Excellent. Motion by Councilor Harden, right? And I had a second by Councilor Perillo.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Discussion. As Councilor Harden said, this is something that's done every year for EMS. Great grant. So any discussion on this? Okay. Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion passes unanimously, 10-0. Thank you all. Last item on the agenda is item 7.4.1. I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Perillo. Yes, sir. I see you.
Yes, I just resolved that Donald Petrimus of Torrey Street be reappointed to the Library Association Board expiring December 31st, 2023.
Okay. Motion by Councilor Perillo. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Dave Harden.
I got Mr. Taveras first. Sorry, Dave. Motion seconded by Councilor Taveras. Do I have any discussion on this? No. Paul, you raising your hand?
Yeah,
Yep.
I've known Don Petrimus for about going on 5 years now. His accounting skills are second to none. I think he'd be a great addition to the Stratford Library Association Board.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Okay. We'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Motion passes 10-0. Thank you all. Last item, take a motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
approve. Motion to adjourn.
Motion, Mr. Poisson. Do I have a second?
Second, Bill O'Brien.
Second by Councilor O'Brien. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Thank you all. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Be safe tomorrow in the snow.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.